I'm Mrs. Kristin Gierke. I teach at Lincoln Terrace Elementary, and I teach the 5th graders there, part of them. And today I'm going to read The Great Fuzz Frenzy, and it's written by Janet Stevens and illustrated, actually it's written by Janet Stevens and Susan Stevens Crummel, and it was illustrated by Janet Stevens. So we're going to get started on this first page, and you will see this dog, and this dog is sometimes in all of Janet Stevens' books. And you can see that the dog has a tennis ball, and these little animals that you see coming out of the holes, those are called prairie dogs. All right, so this is called The Great Fuzz Frenzy, and let's get started. And you can see the dog's name is Violet, and you can see Violet has her tennis ball. And on this page, it says, Violet, no. Violet, where's the ball? And I like this book because it turns this way sometimes. So it's not like a normal book. Down it went, bong, boink. Watch out below, rump, rumble, help, help, help. Run for your life, thump, thump. Plunk. There it sat perfectly still. The prairie dogs waited perfectly still. Slowly they crept out, inch by inch, dog by dog. What is it? A thing? A good thing or a bad thing? A round thing? A strange thing? A scary thing? What should we do? Don't touch it. Shh! Is it alive? They're not sure what to do. Stand back, boomed a voice. You act like gutless groundhogs afraid of your own shadow. Oh no, it's Big Bark. Big Mouth is more like it. He's the meanest dog around. I thought he left town. Well, I'm back, growled Big Bark, so get out of my way. Let me have a look. You can tell this is Big Bark because he's got the little bottle cap on his head. But before anyone could move, little Pipsqueak raced past Big Bark, reached out and poked the big round thing. No, the crowd yelled. It's Fuzzy, said Pip. Ooh, the crowd gasped. A tiny piece of fuzz was caught in Pip's claw. She looked at it, turned it, sniffed it, then she put it on her head. Look at me. Ah, the crowd sighed. Quit hamming it up, you half-pint hamster, snarled Big Bark. I'm in charge. But those prairie dogs didn't listen. They had to have fuzz. I like it, me too. I want some, do you? Oh yes, so do I, so do we, so do they. Big Bark, move over, get out of our way. They charged past him and grabbed at the fuzz. So there they all just grabbing that fuzz. The prairie dogs pulled it, puffed it, stretched it, fluffed it, tugged it, twirled it, spiked it, swirled it. They fuzzed their ears, their heads, their noses. They fuzzed their feet, their tails, their toeses. Big Bark was beside himself. Listen to me, you ridiculous rodent. Stop this fuzzy foolishness. Now, one thing I like about this book is there's a lot of alliteration. And alliteration is when an author uses the same sound over and over again. So an example of that would be fuzzy foolishness, or even over here when they said tugged it, twirled it, spiked it, swirled it. I just love reading this book because of all that alliteration. So let's see what happens next. But those prairie dogs didn't listen. They were busy being hot dogs and silly dogs, corny dogs and frilly dogs, top dogs, funny dogs, super dogs, bunny dogs. You're all nuts, you squirrely fuzz freaks, yelled Big Bark, storming off. Now, when I'm in my classroom and I'm reading this with my kiddos, I like to ask them, which prairie dog is your favorite? And I get a lot of the superheroes their favorite. And again, I get to turn the page like this, which I like. News of the fuzz spread from hole to hole, burrow to burrow, town to town. Soon prairie dogs from everywhere were coming to see that fuzz. They came, they saw, they picked. They twisted it, braided it, danced and paraded it. It was a fuzz frenzy, a fuzz fandangle. The whole prairie was abuzz about the fuzz. So there they are, a fiesta, like a party, right? A lot of alliteration on that one too. Fuzz fiesta, fuzz fandangle. They picked and pruned and pulled and pinched. They pinched and pulled and pruned and picked until the fuzz ran out. That big round thing was fuzzless, naked as a plucked chicken. Some prairie dogs got a lot of fuzz, some got a little, some got no fuzz at all, and they were mad. Give me that fuzz. Why? Because it's my fuzz. Well, it was. Get that fuzz. Get that fuzz. I kind of feel sorry for the ones that didn't get to play with any. Pulling, grabbing, swiping, nabbing, poking, jabbing, it was war. War between the fuzzes and the fuzz knots. Their peaceful town was a battleground. It was a fuzz fight, a fuzz feud, a fuzz fiasco. So all those different F words, fight, feud, fiasco, all like the same thing. They're fighting over this fuzz. I started this, moaned Pipsqueak. I have to do something. Everyone, stop. Stop fighting. But those prairie dogs didn't listen. The battle raged on, friend against friend, cousin against cousin, dog against dog, until no one was left standing. They were pooped, fuzzled out, fast asleep. Hours later, do you notice something on the page? Hours later, the prairie dog began to stir. Where's the fuzz? I don't know. Where did it go? Someone has stolen our fuzz, cried Pipsqueak. Who did? He did. She did. You did. I did, barked a voice from above. I stole the fuzz. The prairie dogs froze. Then they raced up the long tunnel. There stood Big Bark, covered with fuzz from head to tail. I'm the king of the fuzz, he snarled. Do you hear me? I'm the king of the... You'll notice that the has a line, meaning that's the cue to the reader that something's going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen. So, do you hear me? I'm the king of the... Swoop, the sky went black. What happened? Where's Big Bark? Look! There he was, high above their heads, dangling from the talons of an eagle. No more Big Bark, the crowd cheered. Yay! Don't yay! He's one of us, yelled Pip. We have to save him. How would you like to be the eagle's lunch? No, the crowd yelled. We can see when it says the talons, we can use our picture clues and see that he's in the talons or the claws of the eagle. Big Bark, wiggle free, the prairie dog shouted. Shake loose, hurry, we'll catch you. Big Bark twisted and turned, wormed and squirmed. At last he was free of the fuzz. Yay, the crowd cheered. Big Bark fell faster and faster. No, the prairie dogs scattered. Get back here, yelled Pip. Quick, make a circle. Hold out your paws. They ran left, then right, then left. Plop. You saved me, Big Bark cried. But I stole your fuzz. Now it's gone forever. Good, said Pipsqueak. Fuzz is trouble, right? Yay, the crowd cheered. Friend hugged friend, cousin hugged cousin, and dog hugged dog. We don't need fuzz, said Pip. But with Eagle around, we do need a watchdog with a big bark. Big Bark rose up on his hind legs. Eagle's back, bark. This is not a test, bark. All dogs below, bark. So you can see them all running down below because Big Bark is warning them that an eagle is there. And it says, the prairie dogs race down, down, down the long tunnel. Whew, we made it. That was close. 3 cheers for Big Bark, the best watchdog ever. Yip, yip, yay! Yip, yip, yay! Yip, yip, yay! Just doing my job, Big Bark smiled. Are we ever getting tangled up with that fuzz again? Cried Pipsqueak. No, the crowd yelled. No more fuzz. No more fuzz. And from that day forward, the prairie dogs lived happily and fuzzlessly ever after. Now here comes one of my favorite parts, because look, Violet's back. Remember Violet from the beginning? And what does she have here? An orange tennis ball. I wonder what's gonna happen. Do you think she's gonna drop it down the tunnel and the prairie dogs are gonna fight over orange fuzz this time? Or do you think they learned their lesson and they're gonna leave the fuzz alone? All right, so boys and girls, one of the reasons I like to read this book is the onomatopoeia and wordplay and figurative language that's in the book. So for example, we've already talked about alliteration where they use the same sound. So now I want to talk a little bit about onomatopoeia, where swoop is a sound word, so that is called onomatopoeia. And I just like to say the word onomatopoeia when I'm teaching figurative language. And then another example of that in this book is plop, where Big Bark plops down on all the other prairie dogs. So I hope that you enjoyed this book. Again, if you did enjoy this book, what I like to do is, if I enjoyed it, I like to find other books by the same author, because I know that I enjoyed this, so I might enjoy another one. So please read, read, read. Thank you for joining us for 52 weeks of reading, and happy reading.